What up? And welcome to Daytime Talk After Dark. My name is Al Jackson, but that is unimportant. What is
Very
important
important.
is that I'm joined by somebody I love dearly and respect even more. My girl, Erica Cobb. Erica, how are you?
I'm so good, Al. How are you
I'm
doing?
good. You have me worried about you.
Oh, we're getting a little feedback playback
Yeah.
here. We're saying hi to ourselves.
I,
Hey Marquita. Hey Marcy, Gabriel, Julie, Lisa. I love these people. I love y'all night owls.
just the way you just did that, Erica Night Owls, when I was growing up in Cleveland, Ohio, this is back when there like local TV competed with every other, and there was a show that came on Saturdays called Hickory Hideout. And it was like this kind of like preschool teacher would read the books to the kids, and before the show started, she would go, and I want to say hello to Bryant. I want to say hello to Lisa. And I would always wait for Albert. And one time they said my sister Christina's name, and I was fuming. I
Oh
was hating hard
no.
before that was a term. I was so
Oh
mad. She said
no.
my sister's name. I'm like, can we get an Albert? Can we get an Al?
Yeah.
I would get an Alvin, but never an Albert.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Oh,
kind of like remember when you were little and you go on a road trip and you go into one of those, like the little gift shops in
oh
the
yeah, the little
service
license place.
stations. And yeah, and then you'd always look for your name and if it wasn't
Could you find a lot
there.
of Ericas? I'm sure.
Erica is kind of like hit or miss because sometimes there's no Erica. There's always an Eric, but there's
Yes.
no Erica. And then for some reason, there was like a whole era where the Ericas were with a K.
Oh,
I don't understand it. I mean, Erica, Erica, is the most basic way to spell Erica.
yeah, but people don't want to go basic. They're like, let me change two letters. It'll still be pronounced the same, but my child will have to autocorrect their name all the time and have to fix their mail all the time.
Yeah, you actually, when I was getting some footage of you from back in the day on stage, had a joke about this woman named
Oh,
Erica
at the
and how
airport.
she spelled her name.
Yes.
And I used that for the promo for what we were promoting for the live show
That
because I thought it
was
was so funny.
that's crazy. That was at John Oliver's New York stand-up special back before when John Oliver was just getting big, and I remember like I remember that like it was yesterday. It was like a really cool lineup of like just young comics, and everybody kind of did well after that,
Yeah.
narrow them different ways. So yeah, wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy that you saw that is probably 14 years
Oh
old.
my gosh. So as y'all know, because you've been around a while, Night Owls, most of you. So I was doing live shows, and I'm sure I'll do another one, but Al is my opener. And so I went through I think I've seen everything you've ever done at this point.
Really?
Yes.
Well, one time I had a show, and I mean I was gonna pitch you for like a live show at like a festival like Montreal. It was gonna be called Wives and Boyfriends.
Okay.
And basically the show was like whatever your partner was, like they would do your act because they've seen it and heard it so many times that just like so many boyfriends and husbands and wives just sitting back there like, all right, she's gonna say the thing about our kid, then transition about me gaining weight, then she's gonna go what she should have. That we should have an open marriage. Like they have to they have to listen to
Yeah.
all this. So
Yeah, well,
yes,
for starters, great idea.
Yes.
I think that, if you ever watch my husband, like, basically pretend to be me for 5 seconds, he has it pretty down pat. But I thought that Wives and Boyfriends was just a night where the wives could bring their boyfriends and not their husbands, but
Hey.
great.
I'll pitch it in France.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we move any further, let's update you Night Owls. Tori will be in the building
Yes.
next week.
Yes. And unfortunately, I will not be.
What is going on?
I know, you guys. I have a big meeting out of state, and so I'm not going to be able to be here next week. But that's great timing because Tori will be back with you next week, and then I will return. So there will be three of us, and just a little inside baseball. The five of us, so that's Sam, Jeff, Al, Tori, and myself, were all together on Saturday.
It was wonderful.
It was amazing.
It's the first time the gang has been all together.
I mean,
I think maybe since we did the show the night that Trump was elected, And I think that might have been it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So it was so great to all be together. I stayed out at Jeff and Jordan's, like they live in their suburban oasis, until my husband and I stayed till about 10 o'clock at night. We got there. We got there at noon. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, we got there at noon. So basically, we went on a 10-hour excursion. Like I felt like I was in a different country at one point.
Right.
I'm like, what is happening? We went to the pool, we went to the clubhouse, we got on the golf carts, and the whole time I was just drinking white wine. At one point,
It's like they're trying to recruit you to a college or something.
oh, wait. Yeah. So at the end of the night, I don't know if you were around when Neighbor Rich came over.
No.
Okay, so Neighbor
That sounds like
Rich
a rapper,
came
by the
over.
way.
Yeah. Neighbor Rich is obviously one of their neighbors, and thank you so much, Bear Hudson. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I need your, okay, I'm gonna, can we make a note of what he's asking? And I'll finish the story. Yep. So we're all over at Neighbor Rich's house, and they start talking about this house that is going up for sale. And they're talking about like how great this house is, and all of the amenities and all of this stuff. And I just look over and I'm like, are we being recruited? And they're like, well, it is better if you know who's moving in. And I was like, now we got to get out of here.
Jordan is like, that is ridiculous. And then she has a clipboard with an application on. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean.
Oh, my God.
It's like it's weird that we all go, oh, that'd be crazy. But it's like, back in the day, you lived next to people you knew. And I mean, I couldn't imagine that dynamic.
Imagine Anthony and I moving next door to Jeff and Jordan.
That's a show on its own.
I know.
I feel like I'd get pushed out.
First of all, it would be a terrible idea because all I knew was the next day I've been to Vegas, I've been to Mexico, I've been all over the place for these like girls trips and stuff where you're going to be drinking a lot. I have not had a hangover like that since like 2010. I swear to you. I was like, I can't.
It's not discussed.
I can't live there.
People that I'm gonna name. I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say a gender here. Women in the suburbs.
Oh my gosh.
Will put you under the table on their back deck.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I am feeling it, and they're like, I shouldn't have opened this, but I already opened it. So. Yeah. We're going to have to finish it. My husband get mad. They will put you on the table. Everybody thinks it's bikers and college kids. Go see a suburban woman on a Saturday night at 9 p.m. and see if you're still standing.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Singing Mary says, you could keep them all in line, Erica, LOL. Singing Mary, I can't keep them in line if I can't follow the straight line, okay? That's just not happening.
Yeah, did Erica give us any directions? She said, yes, get her some water.
That's
All right, well, Erica, we got to discuss this because I know. Oh, and really quickly while we're promoting things, next week, June 7th, I'll be at Red Rocks performing.
Yes.
Wow. Yes,
that's
cool.
amazing.
So if you're in the Colorado area,
Wait,
come out.
Is it the 7th?
I don't know.
Is it Monday?
I don't know.
That's the 9th.
The 9th? That's what I said?
I know because I have to leave town, so that I'm going to miss it.
No.
know.
You just cleared up the date so you wouldn't have to be there.
No, I swear. I wish I could be there. I had it in my calendar. I knew it, and you didn't know it.
I don't want to talk about that. I also want to say if you're in the Chicago, thank you, Julie, I appreciate that. If you're in the Chicago area in the weekend of June 20th, I'll be at the Comedy Bar there, so come check me out.
Oh, all right. Make sure you tag me so I can post it on my stories for all my Chicago people.
Okay, well, Eric, I've been following your social media lately, but for a long time, and I see that you've been posting no content other than the NBA Finals. So you know that is the Indiana Pacers are playing the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that you're not that familiar with these teams.
I mean, I did work for the Denver Nuggets for 4 or 5 seasons, so I do understand the NBA. Yes.
Okay, so which team do you think has the advantage?
Oh, I don't know who's good now.
Okay.
I just know who
Erica's
they are.
got insight on sports from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Who do you think will win in 2012? So I didn't anticipate that you would know exactly what's going on. You're a busy human being. But how about who would you be pulling on just based on the cities? Like if you had to, like, what's one trait of one city where you're like, I'd like to see Oklahoma City win it?
Well, I think the Pacers.
Right.
It's close to Chicago.
There we go. That's more than enough sports for DPL. That's awesome.
Yes.
Erica, well, I'm going to have you kind of run the show on this one because can you catch our night owls up? And when I say our night owls, I mean me, on everything that's going on with the Diddy sitch. Have you been following the trial?
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, we've had a few people, Tisa Tells, Armand Wiggins have been in the courtroom for the Diddy trial. They've come on to the podcast that I have with Claudia Jordan called Accidentally Informed. Mm-hmm. That's every Wednesday night. So tomorrow, join us over there at 5 p.m. Central. I'm not sure if we'll have somebody who's actually covering the trial, but we definitely will have the rundown. So a few things. So this is really interesting because obviously when this story broke, we were still talking about it every day on Daily Blast Live.
Right.
And
wow, it's been going on for a while.
Yeah. So one of the things was this video that got released by CNN, and it was of Diddy attacking Cassie at the Intercontinental. And we had a ton of questions about where has this tape been? Like, what happened with this tape? So apparently the security guard from the Intercontinental took the stand and testified that essentially he was reached out to by Diddy's, there's Christine something. She's the one that was, when he had to issue the apologies after, you saw a lot of footage of her with him in his backyard and stuff, like drone footage and stuff like that. So essentially, she contacted the security guard and requested that he give them the tapes. And after he said that he wasn't able to do so, that's when she called back, and apparently Diddy got on the phone and basically negotiated to get these tapes back. So between this security guard, I think his name is Eddie, and another guy who was like his supervisor. So Eddie goes to his supervisor and says, hey, Diddy's looking for these tapes. He's offering money. And at that point, it was about $100,000. So that's when the supervisor negotiated, I'll get him the tapes for $50,000. So they get the tapes. Eddie's given a USB, which he meets Diddy in a high rise in order to make the exchange. Diddy gives him the $100,000 in cash in a brown paper bag and tells him not to make any large purchases. He also had him sign an NDA. So I find the NDA thing very interesting because they had him read the NDA. He said he didn't read it when he was there, that he was very nervous. He also said that Diddy offered him tea to calm down, and I'm like, I'm sure he's glad now that he didn't drink that tea.
Oh my goodness.
So then he read the NDA, which essentially stated that if he violated the NDA, he would be responsible for $1 million. So what this really, I mean, there was another testimony by a woman named Mia, and that's her pseudonym. She worked for Diddy, but never had a relationship with Diddy. Some people, so it gets very murky because there are people who are allegedly, I guess we still have to say that, victims of sexual assault by Diddy. And then there are people who stated that they were victims, but also apparently had some type of other interpersonal relationship, and which does not make them any less victims, just so you understand this. So there's been a lot of testimony by people like that. But essentially, what a lot of experts are saying is that this testimony from Eddie establishes RICO, because now we're talking about, and this has like been a step by step. So now we're talking about racketeering.
I can never remember what RICO stands
what's
for.
What's the I stand for? Corruption and organization. Racketeering, I something.
Basically, RICO is like what they took the mob down with. because
influenced and corrupt organization.
Influenced and corrupt
right,
organization.
they and for our night owls, I hope that you don't know too much about RICO. You guys are all good folks. RICO is basically they were having trouble getting the initially taking down the mob because they'd be like, okay, we arrested Erica. She's a small foot soldier. No big deal. We can't touch the people up top.
Right.
So they came up with this RICO charge, and that's kind of an incorporating charge so that you can get the people at the top to take down these larger crime situations. So now, and we've seen that kind of play out, and it's weird because it started with the mob and the mafia, but now it's been used against a lot of rappers and drug dealers. So it's a really interesting charge. But a RICO charge carries football numbers in terms of time spent in jail. So yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, for this, and then the other big red flag, and I guess is carries big numbers, is also the arson. So the Kid Cudi situation, in terms of them saying that Diddy is the one who blew up his car
with the Molotov cocktail.
Right.
The rapper Kid Cudi had some kind of relationship with Cassie, and I'm assuming Diddy was not a fan of that,
right?
And he let him know that weirdly, the way the mafia does. Remember, all the people turning their ignition, and then not working out so well. So it seems to be, it's definitely a message.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, this trial has been so long and daunting, and it continues to go on. And obviously, the court of public opinion. I just saw someone just asked or made reference to a comment that there was a chance that Trump could pardon Diddy. And I know that we talked about this. And strangely enough, after last week's episode, the last thing that we learned was that the Chrisleys were being released and pardoned by Trump. Savannah Chrisley, the daughter, has been the one who's been the most vocal about other people who need to be looked at because there's quote unquote inconsistencies in their case. I was like, when did this chick become an attorney or a voice of reason in a situation like this? Because I think I was going to say something that I can't say on this particular podcast, but but it seems crazy. Like, either they cut a deal that now they're in Trump's pocket and they're just parroting whatever Trump wants them to say because she had so many eyes and ears on her to advocate for her parents, and obviously before that because of reality TV show fame. But she's been advocating for Tory Lanez, and now people are saying that the setup is for Diddy. And honestly, I believe that that's actually a possibility.
Well, Nick, will you look this up? Who did Trump just pardon? I don't even want to, because I'm terrified of rappers. I don't think it was Big Meech. Was it Big Meech or somebody? Yeah.
I like how you asked Nick and our producer.
Oh, I don't. Sorry.
Nick is over there making sure the show goes off without a hitch, and
Erica,
you're like, "Hey, could you stop making sure we're live?" And
gang leader. Is that who you're talking about?
Yes. But it's a really big.
Larry Hoover?
Yes, Larry Hoover.
Yeah.
Mentioned in almost every rap song I've ever listened to.
Larry Hoover.
Yeah, and Trump let him out. So let's have this conversation, even though I really didn't plan to. What do you see? Because I actually had some thoughts on this when I saw the Larry Hoover article about 30 minutes before I came over here. Please, Michael.
Serving 6 life sentences on conspiracy, extortion, drug, and other criminal charges.
Okay, so why Larry Hoover, Erica? Why possibly Diddy, Erica? What is behind? Oh, and he pardoned
Todd Chrisley.
No, NBA YoungBoy, who was faced. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, but I didn't know that
he had a federal gun charge and he commuted his sentence.
Oh.
And Night Owls, y'all probably don't know who NBA YoungBoy is. I'm too old to know who NBA YoungBoy is, but he is. If you have a nephew or anybody in your life, niece, that is under 27, he's probably their favorite rapper. He's one of those rappers that only drops an album every 7 years, but sells out. He's like the young Sade almost.
Not the young Sade.
He just he doesn't produce, but he just has a diehard fan base. And so, Erica, we're looking at NBA YoungBoy. We're looking at Larry Hoover, possibly Diddy. Julia says follow the money. There's a lot of rich people in jail, though, Julie. Even though, yeah, of course, Julia. There, of course, I'm getting Julia and Julia mixed up. Julia, there's a lot of rich people in jail, but I want to know from you, Night Owls, and you as well, Erica, why this group of rich people?
Well, here's the thing. If you look at, I mean, and it's so much different now because everything is digital. We see everything. We have access to everything. And there's no secret that there was a relationship there with Diddy and Trump. And so, and my theory is like either birds of a feather flock together or one bird is just like willfully looking the other direction, understanding exactly where they're flying.
I think that first phrase is way more popular. Birds of a feather. The second one was...
I'm not saying it's a phrase. I'm telling you what
they
happens.
Say birds of a feather fly together, and they also say some birds. Listen, some birds they're at their end. Stress. I mean, come on. That's also another phrase.
You get what I'm saying.
I do.
Either way, like if you, what's the other thing? If you lay down with pigs, you're gonna get muddy.
I don't think that's a phrase at all. I think it's, what is it? If you lie down with something, you'll come up with fleas, right?
Dogs get fleas,
yes.
But we all know our dogs don't have fleas.
I couldn't even think of dogs. That's what a dumbbell I am.
You lie down with something.
If you lie down with pigs, you'll likely wake up muddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that really it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that's a phrase.
Yes,
I'm
it
500
is.
years old. I've never
Oh
heard
my
anybody say
gosh.
that.
Or there's another one: never wrestle with a pig. You'll both get dirty, and the pig likes it.
Yeah,
all
there
right.
you go.
That-
Either way,
got a little sexual at the end.
I think it's also about influence. It's not only about money, it's about the vote.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we're voting anymore these days, but it would be about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really interesting to me because it seems like Trump has always had an affinity for black celebrities. We saw the Herschel Walker thing play out, even though he was maybe the most embarrassing candidate we've ever had.
Haven't you ever seen the clip about Trump talking about black people and how basically the black or athletes and how he's talking about them literally like chattel and just like basically nobody else stands a chance because it's genetic. It's God-given. It's this, it's that. Like, yeah, Trump used
It's almost
to be
like
down.
man versus beast.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know. I think ultimately one of a podcast I'll give a shout out to is Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams, and it's her and Dustin Ross. And she made a comment that I found to be so interesting because as Trump kind of shifted to this MAGA white supremacy leaning platform, what no one, I guess, or what he couldn't have anticipated was when he was like down with, with black people or, down with the people. I think that a part of that, and I don't think Trump was ever really down with black people. I just think that there was a use for those particular people at that time. But she brought up a really great point about what's happening with Harvard, because basically Harvard has told Trump that he's not white enough for them. And it's a different type of, what do they call it? Blue blood, like
elitism.
Right. And so I think Trump really was just first set up by Roger Stone because Roger Stone was just looking for a front man. If you haven't seen the Netflix documentary, Get Me Roger Stone, you really should watch it because it really does go down the entire path of how Trump came to power. And essentially, Roger Stone was the mastermind behind creating this, I guess it was like an equation, a formula. And he needed someone like Trump, and he went after him numerous times, and Trump wasn't interested until Obama embarrassed him in front of the world.
That's a sliding doors moment, isn't it?
Right. And honestly, it's all very interesting. We're going down a rabbit hole, but yeah, anyway, that's what's happening.
That is, but no, it's a lot. So I appreciate
lot.
you getting in there and trying to sort it out for us. Here's something else I'd like for you to sort out, and it's very complicated. Have you heard the story of this brain-dead woman that is in
Yeah.
Atlanta that is pregnant with a child?
Yeah.
Really quickly, tell our night owls just to catch them up and then give us your thoughts.
Well, I might need some details here,
Yeah,
but
I got you covered.
Yes, thank you, Michael.
Yeah, she was 9 weeks pregnant. She went to one hospital with headaches, was sent home with some medication, never did any tests or scans or anything. The next day, her boyfriend woke up next to her. She was gurgling,
my gosh.
and they brought her to one hospital, and they sent her to a second hospital. She got an MRI. She was throwing blood clots in her brain, and she was 9 weeks pregnant at that point, which is past I believe, the 6-week abortion ban in Georgia. The family was not there. They put her on a ventilator, and they have kept her alive ever since, 90 plus days now, because they can't take the baby out because of this law.
Right.
Yeah.
And they gave her family no choice in the matter.
Now, is the baby still developing normally?
Yes, it is gestating normally. And I
Wow.
think it's a boy, and I think they're going to wait until it's viable to live outside of the uterus at 32 weeks.
Wow.
Meanwhile, mom has to go and watch her daughter breathing, and she's dead.
I mean, it is emotionally scarring just to hear. The things that Michael was saying was making me react involuntarily. It's interesting. What I took away from what Michael said is, didn't inform the family, didn't ask the family. I don't know how much of a say they would have been able to have anyway, but they should inform the people that are going to have to raise this child from birth if they choose to. And if they don't, that's a Pandora's box about who does the responsibility fall on to make sure
Well,
this young person has a good life, to have the life that they deserve.
But she had a partner. So it's not like, who does the baby belong to type situation. I think what the prevailing sentiment is about this right to life. And it's like, whose life? And also, why do we only talk about right to life when we're talking about a fetus that's in gestation as opposed to children who are born?
Right.
Because once children are here and they're breathing on their own, most people forget that there are children in need. We never have those conversations. And I can tell you, as someone who has been an advocate for child welfare, there are a lot of children out there who do not have any safe home to be in. They don't have any advocacy, and no one is marching in the streets for them. But you have a child whose mother was failed by the medical system, and that same system, along with these bogus, antiquated laws, are making her now have a vessel create life for this child. And who's going to be are the same people who were so concerned about a 9-week-old. And trust me, like I'm someone who is still trying to grow a family, to have a family. So it's not like I'm callous about the idea of, a fetus versus, that's not what this is about.
Right.
It's about how we pick and choose whose life matters and who doesn't. Not only that, but the idea that this woman is hooked up to ventilators until this child is able to live on its own, all of that financial burden is on her family now. And we know how expensive health insurance is. That might have been a barrier in the first place as to why she didn't have adequate enough health care or oversight to catch what was happening to her before it became too late.
Yeah, the family is saddled with all the financial responsibility
All of it.
for keeping her alive.
Which, who knows what her insurance situation was. Like, that bill, I'm guessing, could be millions of dollars.
Yes. I mean, I'm assuming that people that have great insurance don't get sent away from the hospital with some headache medication.
Well, I mean,
that's
it depends
just-
on where you are and who you are.
Yes. And I mean, I think that's the deal that we all reluctantly accept and resent, is that money and power have its privileges in this country, and it shouldn't be that way. But nobody is shocked when a rich person's kid gets out of a DUI. It's
Yeah,
like
but
there's
here's the thing, though.
it touches
but here's
everything.
the rub. I almost would feel a little bit more confident in that statement if we didn't have such prime examples of being rich and privileged not even being enough to potentially save your life. I mean, if you look at the story of Serena Williams when she gave birth to her first child, I don't know how much more rich or privilege you could possibly have than being the greatest of all time and having to advocate for yourself nearly on your deathbed. So that's why I said, I guess it would depend on where they are and who they are.
Shouldn't be like that, but it is. And since we're talking about the sort of topic of coin and how that influences things, there was recently a study that said $350 billion is the expected cost of the families that's placed upon the families that have loved ones that are currently incarcerated. And they base that off of lost income from breadwinners that are locked up for years, having to not only replace that absence by then hiring caregivers. And it's been a topic forever. I don't even know if over incarceration is the right word. Mass ridiculous incarceration numbers in this country. But we've always discussed it as an ethical thing. And what we continue to learn, but also continue to forget, Erica, is that if it's not a money conversation, it's really just time filler. So do you think that we could possibly see a change in our incarceration rates if we could prove that it was financially damaging the country? Maybe a little bit the way that...
No.
Talk to me.
No, because incarceration at its core was just a response to the end of slavery. Mm-hmm. It was another way to get slavery and indentured servitude legalized in this country. That's the reason why we're so upside down in terms of the demographics of who is incarcerated and why they're incarcerated. So it has nothing to do with, oh, this doesn't make any financial sense. It makes a lot of financial sense to continue to drain the people who are already financially drained. I mean, the majority of people who are incarcerated are people who are impoverished, people who don't have resource. So it's another way to enslave people. So I don't think that there's going to be a dollars and cents like come to Jesus moment about this, because at the core of what it is, it was never really about that.
And I wonder if we could even have the conversation anyway, because it impacts certain communities so unfairly that I don't even know if the communities that are not impacted can even have that conversation. Now, looping back to a story we've already covered with the Chrisleys, did you see that Todd Chrisley said upon his first press conference, he couldn't believe how bad the black men in jail were treated? Like, he was clearly shocked by that. But I thought his genuine, he was shocked by that, kind of shows you when you're trying to have a conversation like this, how impossible it is, because one side lives their life without ever thinking that they'll know anybody that will ever be incarcerated. And if they do, even if those people stole $30 million, those people will still get out. So it's my father was incarcerated in his 60s. So everybody that I know has been impacted by their fathers being locked. And
I thought it's also important to note that he was wrongfully convicted for something he never did.
Absolutely.
And so that's another element of it. You're talking about a attorney, educated black man in America who still ended up succumbing to the system in that way.
Right.
I mean, obviously it's flawed. It's flawed on purpose. I don't know about the Todd Chrisley talking about black men incarcerated, and I was very shocked by the response on social media about how, people are like, oh, he's always been down for us.
Oh, I'm
like, he's a grifter and this is a grift. I mean, that's just what it is.
I was really I was just shocked that he was shocked.
No, Al, he's not shocked. He's a grifter, and this is a grift. Like, I mean, so for him to come out and then people are praising him. Oh, this is so great. And then his daughter on the other side is basically doing exactly the misogynoir that we are accustomed to in terms of demeaning Black women, basically undermining the testimony and the truth of Meg Thee Stallion, which is something that does not need to be revisited. This woman has been tortured like out of control, and she was shot.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Erica,
we need a palate cleanser.
Yes.
Can we go back to Bear?
I mean, Michael, I'll say this. I think what I'm hearing from Erica, she didn't think that Todd Chrisley is one of the great civil rights leaders of our time.
I do not.
Well, we're going to find out on his new Lifetime reality show, which he began shooting right after leaving prison.
Of course. Can we go back to Bear's question, Nick?
Yeah, I've got Bear's question right here. I think he gave us an update that he met her at some party, and she mentioned that she was a teacher, but this is
his child's teacher, correct?
For the past 9 weeks, I have been dating my daughter's teacher and didn't know she was my daughter's teacher until recently.
Okay. We need to know how old the daughter is.
Ooh,
Bear, how old is your daughter?
And also, wouldn't that come up on the first date? You're a teacher. Where do you teach? Oh, that name's familiar.
I don't know. I don't know
if this is in Detroit. He said it's a well-known school.
Yeah, Detroit is a big city. So I mean, if you say a teacher, I don't know if I would.
But if she goes, I teach at Kavanaugh, you'd be like, my daughter goes there. And you'd be like,
I don't know. Would you say?
Well, okay. Let's just take it as what now. Well, he's in it now.
Yeah.
So Erica, Bear comes to you. He's like. He gives you a call like I did the other day. He's like, Eric, I need to talk to you. And he lays this out for you.
Well, Bear, are you not? You should have. Oh, Lord, Julia.
Yeah, Julia.
You said, are you not involved in your daughter's life? You should have known that was her teacher. Well, okay, I'm
gonna say that would be creepier if I was just asking my daughters, like, tell me your teachers' names.
Well,
pull up their profiles. Like, I wouldn't ask that question as a dad.
What Julia's asking is, don't you go to like parent-teacher conferences? Don't you know who your daughter's teacher is?
Yeah, but you don't remember every face.
Bear, I'm not trying to come for you. I just want to know,
I got your back there.
Especially, I'm curious of how old the daughter is, because if she's in high school, she has multiple teachers. If she's in junior high, she has multiple teachers. So I don't know if it's necessarily like, bad. My question is though, Bear, where you kind of got me is that it's June. So isn't this the end of the school year? Doesn't she get a new teacher in the fall? You're going to have to fill us in, Bear.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. You can't ask me open-ended questions because I got some questions to close the ends, okay?
I think that Erica's response is why I tell every man that is within an earshot or listening to me through an earbud, do not try and lie to women. I know, dude, I get it. You're smarter. You go on these sites and it's very misogynistic and you talk about how women only do this. I don't know if I know one guy that successfully pulled one. Women, just if she's asking you, if she asks you one question, she knows everything. I tried it too. I get it. Go for it, young guy. Old guys don't know anything. Stop lying. And if you have a real question like Bear did, just ask, because any kind of like dancing around trying to hold back facts, it'll be that where she starts pulling up her mental calendar and going back through Teacher Appreciation Week. No. That's why, Julia, yes, you guys do have radar. And it's like, I have told this story before, and I'm going to tell it for anybody that hasn't heard it really quickly. My mother, when she was on first date with a guy that she was going to end up being married to for 20 years. Got up in the middle of dinner, before cell phones, before any kind of technology, find my kid, find my keys, before any of that. And my mom was like, we got to end this date that's clearly going well. Something in the universe is wrong. And she went home and had to handle some business because she just knew. How did she know that? She just knew. Take that story with you, fellas, before you try and BS a lady. Doesn't happen.
I first of all love that story. I know that you're giving an abridged version of the
I
story.
I am, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
like
you're
not
out
throw
of
anybody under the
respect.
bus.
Yeah, out of respect.
Can I say my
for-
favorite line from the story?
Yes.
Okay. They get back to my house, my mom's house, and because she just feels like something's wrong in the universe, my sibling had a friend over visiting, same-sex friend, and my mom's knocking on the front door. Nobody's at the front. Nobody's coming, and she knows they're there. And so the future husband, goes around the back, and what she hears from the backyard is, "Put your foot back in that window." Ooh. Yeah. Don't try it. Don't try it. This is 1989.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, put your foot back in that window, fellas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally and figuratively. So, Erica, please.
No, I just find it fascinating because, like, generally, if somebody asks me a question, and I am often, sometimes people will nicely refer to me as the truth teller. If they're not being nice, it's something very different. But it's just the way my brain works. Like, it's not even like I'm trying to be shady or I'm trying to be mean. It's like, if you're coming to me with something, then I automatically, whatever I'm going to say is going to be rooted in truth, because I feel like, you're coming to me because you want help, and I want to give you the best help I can possibly give you. So that's the reason why it becomes like an interrogation in my head. And I start to like unearth things that maybe, because Anthony, my husband, now I'll get this, like on my knee, he'll start to like hit, like, basically, you're going in, they don't want to share that, just end it now. Off ramp. And I'm like, no, I think we're almost there. And he's like, that's not where they want to go.
They shouldn't ask that. They shouldn't ask.
I know.
If they don't want the real.
Never open up a can of worms with me, because I will not end until every worm is released.
Well, speaking of cans of worms, Helen Mirren opened up her own can. Erica, just to quickly brief you, she said, I believe it was the actor Kathy Bates and Carrie Russell. Who's the other one?
Yeah, Carrie Russell. Who was Felicity.
Oh, okay. That was her. Okay.
Parker Posey was also there. Niecy Nash.
Oh, yeah.
And, I had the whole list. Give me a second. I'll find it again.
Okay. And she said that basically that those type of actors are not the traditional beauties, but they're more interesting looking. And some people took that as shade. I took that as kind of fact. That's kind of what it is. There's some people that they use, like Michael B. Jordan. You can just look and be like, that is an attractive man. But Steve Buscemi is a unique looking person. We lost him, but Michael K. White, the guy that had the scar across his face, he was in The Wire. He passed away, sadly, R.I.P. Danny Trejo, interesting, pockmarked face. It pops for a different reason. And so I didn't take it as shade. I took it as like, as human beings, we like to see different things visually.
Yeah, but I think it was Carrie Russell, Felicity. Thank you, Lisa. Happy Tuesday to you too.
Yes, thank you, Lisa.
I hear Bear is back, so we'll get more into Bear. So I think that what you're saying has legs, but Carrie Russell was like, "Speak for yourself."
Yes.
When Helen Mirren said that.
She was not trying to have that conversation.
Right. And I do. First of all, Carrie must have been like, I was the Noxzema girl. Or was it Neutrogena? I think it was maybe Neutrogena. Yeah.
I thought it was Noxzema.
She was the, whichever one. I mean, the face
Let's get derailed on this.
Yeah, the face of clear and vibrant skin.
Yes.
So she was like, speak for yourself, which I do think. Neutrogena.
Like I said.
Who... I think that's fair too.
Right.
Like, that's not how she sees herself. And to loop everyone in to basically be like, you're not that beautiful, you're just interesting looking, is low key shade. It's high key shade. Like, if you can say that about yourself, I could be like, yeah, let's be honest. I'm not like the most gorgeous woman ever, but if Tori and Sam was sitting here and I was like, let's be honest, we're not the most gorgeous women ever. They would look at me like I was crazy.
Don't make
because
this a
that's
group
not
chat.
Something, exactly. That's not something that you involuntarily add someone to the group chat for.
Absolutely.
I think that
I'd
point
accept-
could have been made differently, although I'm not trying to indict Helen Mirren
Right.
for saying something like that.
And saying something where you can at least see that it wasn't meant to be malicious. But when you say, I honestly think, and what I've learned over the course of my 47 years, is that telling anyone, however they identify, that they look like anyone, no matter how publicly that person is revered for their looks, it never works out well. The best you'll get is, I get that a lot. But usually people are like, you think I look like, and it's like, I think they're fine. And like some people do not like to be compared to other people. So I just would never, talking about people's looks, it's a very narrow street that can go well. It's a very
I guess
small street.
It depends. I've gotten two people my entire life. Laura Winslow.
Yes. Wow,
and Gabrielle Union. Now, Gabrielle Union and I do not look alike.
You do.
I mean, she is gorgeous, but we don't look alike. I've gotten Laura Winslow since I was like, in
Do you think
elementary
you guys
school.
look alike?
I could see it.
Yes.
Yeah. I could see, especially, I can totally see it. I also think that she kind of favors my mom a bit.
Yeah.
So I can see where people get that from. But then it also it depends. Like I can't remember, I got one that I was like, what in the world are you talking about? Because I also think that people just do it as conversation starters too.
And that can end a conversation much easier than it can start it. Did I ever tell you the weirdest you look like story of my life? When I lived in New York, I was doing stand-up full-time, obviously. Went to a friend of mine's. He was getting married to, obviously, his wife. I won't say obviously. He's getting married. They had a reception at a bar on the Upper West Side. I went there and was showing love like you normally do. Regular night, normally this wouldn't be a story. I go up to his soon-to-be wife, try and like give her a hug, and like she shaded me in a way that I was like, I was back still drinking. I was like, oh, maybe she didn't recognize me. Well, and I went back again and tried to like, hey, good luck, you kid. Ice, Erica. And I'm like, am I tripping? And I'm just like, maybe, I don't know, you can kind of play it off at a party. But the next day, I get a call from my then manager, and he goes, did you notice that blank was not happy to see you last night? And I go, yeah, I did. And he goes, it's because you look so much like her ex-boyfriend that she thought I was him coming to their reception to shade them. Then he sends me the picture of the dude, and he looked just like me. Erica, I would have thought it was a picture of me if I just took a glance. I mean, just like me. It was the weirdest thing, to the point where the couple called me to apologize.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy, because also that ruined her night.
Yes. Yes. Your ex is showing up and just like to shade you.
God.
And I maybe, because I'm sure if she had said that to her future spouse, he'd have been like, that's out.
Yeah.
But she probably held that inside, and it affected her whole night. She's like, I cannot believe he had the nerve to show up here and trying to hug me. Talk about
that is
crazy. Yes, I can't. I saw that picture. I was like, because I don't look like a lot of people, I don't think. I saw that picture. I was like, oh, I feel like my dad might need to have a little chit chat.
Oh man,
he looked just like me, Cobb.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Eric, I want to get to this as we're winding down.
Do you want an update on Bear?
Please,
yes, an update on
thank you.
Bear said his daughter is 16 and Detroit high schools are still ongoing. He also said he never thought to ask what school this woman taught at because he didn't want to disrespect her, or he wanted to respect her privacy and not seem weird.
Bear, okay,
that is a very
those
smart,
were all
fair
great
answer.
answers. Those were all great answers. I did pontificate that your daughter might be in junior high or high school, which means that she has multiple teachers. But good news, Bear, School year is almost out. So maybe that teacher won't be her teacher next year and you are in the clear. I don't think that there's anything wrong, especially, I mean, it's a community. What, teachers can't date? Just don't do anything slick because then, she got another 2 years. Sound like she's is that sophomore? 14, 15, 15, 16. Yeah, she got 2 more years. So don't do anything slick for 2 years.
Especially if it's a course that, subject to opinion. Like if it's math, even if things end poorly with Bear, teacher can't really do anything. If it's English, if she's just grading off, like, let me read this paragraph. I didn't like the tone.
Oh, no.
D minus.
Oh, no.
I didn't care. I don't like how you started this. I didn't take me anywhere. Maybe if
I
your
think
dad
you're
could
in
call
the
somebody
clear.
back. Yeah, those are the
Yeah.
comments at the end. But yes, hey, Bear, go there and find some love. And it sounds like you care, like at least enough to talk to us night owls about it. Keep us posted. I want to know.
I want to know too.
Well, Erica, here's something I do know.
What?
Pride Month
Yes.
coming up soon.
Nope, it's here.
That's
It's-
it's
yeah, it's
June
June.
already.
Yeah.
Well, I've been moving for 3 straight days.
I know.
I
I also had
am-
to tell you when your show is on Monday.
Yes, I have. I just kind of returned to the planet about an hour ago. It's also my birthday month. I had no idea it was June.
Yes.
So Pride Month is here. Erica, they have a list of the top 5 and lowest 5 states in terms of safety for LGBTQ plus folks. Erica, why don't you just give us a guess on where one state in the top 5 would you guess and one in the bottom would you guess?
I would say California is in the top 5.
No, wait, no,
Really?
no.
I believe it's 7th.
California's 7th? Okay, let me get
Go with
New
these.
York
Yes,
is in
there
the
we
top
go.
5.
Okay, so in bottom 5.
I'm gonna go with Mississippi for the bottom 5.
Mississippi is not in the bottom 5.
It's in the bottom 10.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Kansas.
No, one more.
Let's try Louisiana.
All right, there it is. Louisiana is in the top 5, and that's not a great thing.
No, bottom 5.
Bottom 5. Big
Yeah.
difference. What do you think about the current climate? And because I it's a question that I ask, but it's more about how I feel. What the current administration, obviously they never overtly say to attack people, but they've made it very comfortable for those that have hate and homophobia in their hearts to express it publicly. Where I feel like this wasn't a thing 8 or 9 years ago. And now I will never forget that clip we showed in DBL where that man walked into a Target. It was like 10 in the morning, like ripped a rainbow T-shirt off of a hanger. I was like, what's going on with you, sir? And it seems to be something that if certain forces want it to be talked about and to become a thing, they can kind of turn that volume up, because we've seen that volume turned up on Bud Light and women's swimming, all these things that no one talked about until everybody's talking about it all at the same time. And that seems very suspicious to me.
Well, I think that people really feel a newfound freedom to express their innermost demonic thoughts. It's interesting when people, this is what I never understand, when people are so obsessed with communities outside of their own. Like, I don't ever wake up and think about anything like that.
It's
I mean, I got to be honest, and it honestly gives obsession. You know how like when you were young and you did something and you didn't want to get in trouble, but you started talking and your mom be like, be careful, you're telling on yourself.
right.
That's how I feel when I see a man go into a Target and pull down rainbows, which, to be honest, I would rather have someone taking rainbows off the wall on Target than actually targeting actual people.
I think about that all the time. I totally agree. I'm like,
I mean, I would rather none of it happen, but you know what I'm saying?
yeah, and I'm not trying to make a flippant analogy here, but like, I don't like bananas. so I don't ever talk about them. I don't go to rallies with other people that don't like bananas. I don't go on the internet and join communities with people that don't like bananas. I don't think about them ever. I never buy them. I never eat them. I never think about them. It'd be very strange if I didn't like bananas, but I did all of those things.
Yeah.
It's like a very telling.
Here's the thing, because
Hatred.
this is a very slippery. We're tiptoeing in this conversation, right? And I just want to make sure that people understand the intention behind this conversation, because to me, it really, it says to me that you are, let's say let's take it out of the LGBTQIA plus community. Let's just say someone who enjoys wearing wigs, and you are very upset, like you're obsessed with the idea that someone can wear a wig all the time because you really want to wear wigs, and because you've been ostracized and told by generations that it is wrong to wear wigs, it's ungodlike to wear wigs. So now your frustration is on this person who gets to openly be themselves, and it consumes every fiber of your being. And so that's what I see and feel when I see someone who is being overtly, publicly, loudly homophobic. Like, there is a glitch in the system, because you are so obsessed with it because it has something to do with your feelings, or your feelings about the idea that someone can openly be themselves and you can't be, for whatever reason. And that's the only way that obsessions happen. Like, I remember I lost my My Little Pony in the first grade, and this little girl, Rainey, had the same My Little Pony, and my parents refused to buy me a new My Little Pony because they told me that I had lost mine. And I became obsessed with getting this My Little Pony, to the point where I actually stole Rainey's My Little Pony. Ooh. Because I felt like I couldn't
Statute of limitations passed.
I gave it back because I got caught. But I couldn't think about anything else. And I couldn't stand Rainey because she was able to do something that I wasn't able to do anymore. And I don't want to make this like super, remedial and go down the simple basics and fundamentals. But I do feel like people need to hear it that way.
Yeah.
I feel like you get there faster if we just bring it down to brass tacks, because explain to me tell me something else. Michael, do you have any other thoughts about this?
Besides the fact that it was Rainey's fault she got her My Little Pony stolen?
I'm sorry, Rainey.
I think, I don't understand the hate either. Besides the religious thing, I don't it's very opaque to me what's behind that.
Well, and the religious thing is very convenient too, because when we
Right.
talk about the Bible as a blueprint versus whatever, I don't even want to get into that.
All the things in Leviticus that nobody cares about, except for those few things that they do care about, is very selective.
Yeah. So anyway, Black Asian says they doth protest too much. I agree with that.
Well, I'm going to have to protest when I say this, but I have to sadly admit the show is coming to an end.
I know, that was fast.
I could talk to you and the Night Owls forever.
I know.
The time just blows by. We have a lot more to discuss, and we will do that next week with Tori Shulman. Yes. And in the meantime, make sure to follow Erica
at Erica Cobb on all platforms, except for my TikTok, which is at I am Erica Cobb. Yes, please follow me.
I feel like that's going to be the title of your movie about your life. I am Erica Cobb.
Maybe.
I would watch.
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know
just a
what
picture.
the plot is,
It's just a Polaroid picture of you as a young girl, and then that's written in marker. All right. I'm putting that in the universe. It's going to happen. You guys check me out June 9th.
Monday, June 9th at Red
Rocks. And the weekend of June 20th at the Comedy Bar in Chicago. But until then, Night Owls, I have to say,
hootie hoo.
Yeah.